In the mid-19th century, humanity was waging a silent, losing war against an enemy it couldn't even see. Sickness and death were often attributed to bad air, divine will, or a mysterious internal imbalance. But in a quiet laboratory in Paris, one man was about to unmask this invisible foe and change the course of human history forever. His name was Louis Pasteur. Peering through his microscope, he discovered a teeming, microscopic world of bacteria and yeasts, a universe of life previously unknown. He suspected these tiny organisms were the true culprits behind decay and disease. To prove his theory, he devised a brilliant and elegant experiment using swan-neck flasks. By boiling a broth to kill any existing microbes, and then exposing it to the air through a curved tube that trapped dust and germs, he showed that the broth remained sterile. But when the flask was tilted, allowing the trapped dust to enter the broth, it quickly teemed with life. The conclusion was inescapable. Life did not spontaneously generate. Germs came from other germs, floating all around us in the air. This single experiment shattered centuries of scientific dogma and laid the groundwork for germ theory. Pasteur's discoveries soon found practical, life-altering applications that extended far beyond the laboratory. In the 1860s, the renowned French wine industry was on the brink of collapse, its vintages mysteriously souring and turning to vinegar. The nation's winemakers were desperate. Pasteur, applying his new knowledge, identified the specific microbes responsible for spoiling the wine. His solution was remarkably simple, yet revolutionary: gently heating the wine to a specific temperature for a short period. This process, which we now call pasteurization, killed the harmful bacteria without ruining the delicate flavor of the wine. He later applied the same principles to save France's vital silk industry, identifying and eliminating the parasitic microbe that was devastating the nation's silkworms. From the vineyards of Bordeaux to the silk looms of Lyon, Pasteur was proving that understanding the microbial world was the key to controlling it. Having conquered the agents of spoilage, Pasteur turned his formidable intellect to the far greater challenge of disease. He theorized that if germs could spoil wine, they could surely cause sickness in animals and humans. His work led him to develop a groundbreaking method for creating vaccines by weakening, or attenuating, the very microbes that cause the disease. He first demonstrated this with chicken cholera, and then, in a dramatic public experiment, with anthrax, a deadly scourge of livestock. He vaccinated one group of sheep and left another unprotected before exposing them all to a lethal dose of anthrax bacteria. The unvaccinated animals perished, while every single vaccinated sheep survived. This triumph set the stage for his most audacious and dangerous challenge. In July 1885, a 9-year-old boy named Joseph Meister was brought to his lab, horrifically mauled by a rabid dog and facing certain, agonizing death. Pasteur had developed a rabies vaccine, but it had only ever been tested on animals. Faced with the boy's desperate parents and the ticking clock of the virus, he made the agonizing decision to administer the untested treatment. For weeks, the world held its breath as Pasteur gave the boy a series of increasingly potent injections. Miraculously, Joseph Meister survived, becoming the first human to be saved by a man-made vaccine. The successful treatment of Joseph Meister catapulted Pasteur to international fame and solidified his legacy. Donations poured in from around the globe to fund the creation of the Pasteur Institute in Paris, a beacon of scientific research dedicated to studying and fighting infectious diseases. The principles he established became the very foundations of modern medicine. Surgeons began sterilizing their instruments, drastically reducing post-operative infections. Public health officials championed the pasteurization of milk, saving countless children from tuberculosis and typhoid fever. The concept of vaccination became a cornerstone of global health, leading to the control and eradication of diseases that had plagued humanity for millennia. Louis Pasteur, the humble chemist who began by looking at sour wine, had given humanity the tools to fight back against its invisible enemies. He was more than a scientist. He was one of the greatest lifesavers in history. and his work continues to save millions of lives to this very day.